Hello.
What's good, yo?
And we back.
Why we back?
Okay, so I literally was just sitting here talking to him about what today's episode is going to be about. And he's like, just let it flow. Just let it, like, run. Like, we're not going to brainstorm any ideas. Like, we're just going to do it. So I'm going to let him take the lead on this one.
Yeah, I wish you could see me right now because I'm having a brain fart.
Now you're drawing a blank. He said, I have so many ideas. Like, just watch this. It's that Usher thing. Watch this.
Oh, yeah? Oh, man. I was trying to freestyle shit because, I mean, sometimes the organic and not planning stuff and it's just coming together for no reason. It's beautiful.
True.
I don't know. Like, to me, I feel like maybe we could talk about randomness, the random shit. Like, okay, if you could make an animal, like create an animal from scratch, basically anything you want, what would that animal look like? What would his features be? Attributes, what his purpose would be in the ecosystem, things like that. What is that? What does that creature look like? And you have to name it afterwards, obviously. But kind of go. What would that animal be?
I think you have to answer your own question first, because
How the hell?
I've never sat here and thought about creating an animal in my brain. So
What?
I'm sorry, is that uncommon?
I feel like it's like the most probably common thing,
To sit there and create an animal in your head and name it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I must be the odd one out then.
Yeah, you must be. Because, okay, so check it out. Okay. All right. So first off, my shit would fly. So because how Animal Kingdom is, you have to have wings in order to fly, which sucks. I wish you could just like, firebend or something, or just, like airbend, stuff like that. Like, but it has to be realistic, so I can't really, Okay, so he has
Wait,
to.
so we have to come up with a realistic, non-real animal. Okay, now there's
Yes, it has to be possible. You know what I mean? It can't defy
like now
the
there's
laws
terms
of,
and conditions.
of gravity or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
What?
yeah, see, so that's what makes it even harder. Is that you have to come up with something that actually follows the laws of whatever the fuck it is. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So mine has to have wings because it can fly. All right, because I want mine to fly because I don't know. I feel like being able to fly is like such a great thing, I don't know if you feel that way or not because you get car sick. So imagine if you could fly.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm like,
You know
if
what I
we
mean?
go on a road trip, I have to be the one driving. I will get so car sick if it's over 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, that would look so weird. Okay, because I'm thinking of a bird man.
Oh my
Like
god.
a bird man.
How is that realistic at all?
Because we are realistic. So think about it. Now we just got wings. Now we actually are Red Bull sponsored, bro. We
Oh
got
my
wings.
God. We're not actually sponsored, but if Red Bull would ever sponsor us, that'd be kind of tight.
But if you want to sponsor me, please do. I break. Anyway.
Yeah, he breaks. Cool.
Okay, so he's gonna have a body like a human, so features wise. But the thing is, I want him to be able to communicate like a bat. Like, you know what I mean? Have the sonar, like shit. So, or like whales. You know how they use the sonar stuff to communicate. So I want him to be able to, sonar shit. So he's gonna have like big ass ears.
Okay.
Big ears. So that way he can like listen from halfway across the world. So communication would be
that
crazy.
far.
That far. You know what I
Damn.
mean? Yeah. So we don't even need cell phones. You know what I mean? Because it's like you just you communicate with your homie. I want them to be able to like have like superhuman strength, right? Like crazy amount of strength. So this guy has to be huge, like as strong as like I think an elephant would probably be pretty fucking strong. You know what I mean?
I mean, elephants are heavy.
Technically, my dude would have to be a giant in order to get like the you know what I mean, proportion wise. So this guy would have to be like fucking almost 15 feet tall. Damn, can you imagine a 15-foot tall person
With wings.
with wings and being able to talk to you from halfway across the earth?
Okay, what are you naming this thing?
Spartan.
Oh. Okay.
His name will be Spartan, and then for girls it'll be
Spartina.
Spartina. Actually, yeah, that's perfect, Spartina.
I think it's interesting that when you think like coming up with your own animal, you're immediately like air, wings, like, you know, whatever. Because immediately I thought water.
Oh, you want? Ooh, okay. See?
Immediately I'm
So
like
I was land
underwater.
mammal, but you're underwater.
Well, of course, I haven't fucking mermaid tattooed on me. Like, of course, it's gonna have to do with breathing underwater and swimming really fast and having a tail
Okay.
and brushing your hair on a pretty rock. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
I just described a mermaid.
Would you still keep the feet though? How about that?
No,
You wouldn't keep feet. You would just have just a tail.
I would have just a tail.
You don't want them to be able to submerge on submerge.
No,
out of
see,
water.
when I think of, well, I'm not going to describe an actual mermaid, but when I do think of mermaids and how I believe that they're real, I don't picture Ariel with this red hair and like shells and singing songs and shit. Like, I picture some like Pirates of the Caribbean mermaids type thing where they're legit sirens and luring sailors to their death, and they're not nice. And I think they're really pretty, which is how they draw you in. But I think they're actually really violent and killers.
Gotcha.
Like, realistically, those are mermaids and not fucking hanging
Yeah.
out with crabs and shit.
Yeah. Now under the sea.
Not some under the sea. Under the sea.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess my type of animal would be they swim like dummy fucking fast. Like how yours can communicate halfway across the world. I'm like, mine can probably swim that fast. They'll tell you themselves by swimming you.
Jesus Christ, that's fucking fast.
Yeah.
That'd be insanely fast. You know how strong they would have to be in order to like.
Yeah,
be able to-
exactly.
No, they would be fucking strong.
And I wouldn't want mine to be a giant, like 15 feet tall. Like, I feel like I would want it to be human sized because I think that would be cooler.
Really. To be able to, oh man.
Not take up a lot of space or not require as much.
Mhm.
Not require as much intake of food and shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And they would only eat seafood. I'm just describing this animal as like what I wish I was.
Yeah, pretty much. I think this is mine saying the same thing too, which is I
Right.
wish I was 15 foot with wings. You know?
See, that tells me I wish I was underwater and I was a mermaid and I only ate seafood and I like my height.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean the height part it just has have to do with the strength because you know there's it has to
Yeah,
match
but
up.
wouldn't it be really cool to be the same size person or a small person that's just ridiculously strong? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I feel like this guy would just be like bloated Jack and just wouldn't be able to do anything because he's just so fucking strong. You know, because I don't know, like, but I get it. I get what you mean though.
Yeah.
Like, if he so had like the features of just a regular person, but all of a sudden this fool can throw cars. You know?
Yeah, I feel like it's like element of surprise. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think your question is actually interesting because it's kind of describing how you would want to morph yourself.
Oh yeah, like the books. I don't know if you've ever seen the Animorphs.
Uh-uh.
You haven't seen the books? Oh man.
Seen the books?
Yeah, like the book covers where it's like people. There was like these kids or something that where they would be able to transition to like an animal.
Oh,
Animorphs.
I didn't know that was the title.
I
But
think
yes,
that's
I
what it
used to
was.
see books and shit like that all the
Yeah.
time in elementary school.
I never read them. I think I read one.
I literally
maybe
thought they were drawing books, like teaching you how to draw that shit.
Oh, no kidding.
I had no idea it was actually
Really?
about morphing
It was an
into
actual book, yeah.
animals.
Uh-huh.
No wonder you thought it was normal to like think of this question. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, to all the people who have read the books, they're like, yeah, I've thought about this.
I've thought of myself as a giant.
Yeah.
No.
But your question's interesting because it's kind of just like, what features about yourself would you change and shit? But I don't know the name of mine though. Is the problem,
Because you want to say mermaid, that's why.
right? Aquafina.
Not sponsored.
Oh wait, that's a water
That's
bottle.
a
What the fuck? Oh
Yeah,
god, I thought I was being fucking original.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel like it has to be Aqua something. Can I just name it Aqua?
Aqua. Underwater
Okay.
Aqua.
Aqua versus
Spartina.
who's winning?
I mean, if it's an aerial fight, you're done.
Well, obviously, if it's underwater, you're dead.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's no way, yeah. I mean, I might be able to use my wings to, like, you know, maybe swim, but there's no way that, I mean, if you're fucking swimming as fast as you do, you would fucking best me, for sure.
I like how our creatures are complete opposite. Like, we can't even make them fight. It wouldn't work.
Nah, it wouldn't. Because, the other person has such an advantage in the other person's, like, field
Yeah.
environment. It's crazy.
All right.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's actually good, though, because it really shows how, like, the animal kingdom is, though, too. Because if you really take, like, any underwater creature and put them up there, they're kind of like trash. But if you pick any like actual land mammal and put them down there, they're complete trash too.
Yep.
So it just makes sense. It's the environment is where you're kind of just like
It's like, come to my territory and we'll talk.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Catch me in my side of the hood. What's good?
Oh shit! It's funny how you've seen those books, but you've never actually read them, and you thought it was a coloring book or something.
Not a coloring book. I thought it was one of the step-by-step, like how to draw, like start with the circle. And then
Oh,
you add the triangles for the ear. And like
gotcha,
I thought it
gotcha.
was like a step-by-step on how to draw those animals.
No way. That's crazy.
That was a thing back then too.
It was a thing, but I don't know if you ever
And
seen how thick the book is.
yeah, I just look at the picture. I don't know. I'm like, not gonna read that one.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I guess if we're talking about reading, what's a book?
I'm gonna stop you right there. I've only ever read one book in my life.
Okay, well then tell me the book.
It was Outsiders.
Interesting.
It was the only book that actually interested me that we had to read in school. All the other books that we had to read in school, I just either copied off someone, watched the movie, or skimmed through it.
Okay. So you've never really read for fun.
I mean, I'm trying to read Vampire Diaries right now, but since we're moving, you kind of boxed it up.
That's true though. I did put them all the way in the bottom. So
You're
I'd have
not a
to
reader either, though.
think. Oh
You don't-
really?
You don't read.
Oh, I don't read. So here's the thing about me is that I was actually a really bad reader.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. So because I mean, if I can like barely half-ass communicate about shit, then obviously you'd expect me to just be horrible at reading. I used to be in ESL and read 180, things like that. So I was under the level of reading, like below. Like I used to be almost like third, fourth grade, and I'd still have like that first to second grade.
I mean,
And-
there's nothing wrong with. I think people are they learn at their own pace.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I had to transition from a whole different language. So I was just always so stuck on, like, some specific enunciates and things like that, you're supposed to get out of the habit of.
Gotcha.
And so it was very, very hard to transition from some things like that. Like, my brother did a lot better because he was a lot younger and he started to pick things up more because...
He got more of a head start.
Yeah. So, I mean, he did better than I did. But overall, yeah, for me, it was a struggle with reading. And then it came middle school, and a little bit, like, towards 5th grade, I started doing, like, the reading for, like, libraries and stuff, and you had to, like, fill in how many books you were reading or stuff like that. And I started reading hella books from there on, and I started finding catching up and, like, almost getting to, like,
That's cool.
middle school to a high school level,
Nice.
And then I was like, and then I stopped reading. But damn, like I used to read hella books. Like
I feel like that
insane
just
amount of
shows if you're
books.
dedicated to something, you can do it,
No, for sure.
Like if you really want to do something, you do.
So since I'm working with kids now, that are like a couple of them have same issues as I did, but a lot of them is more.
Do you
just
feel like that makes you
dyslexia and
connect
stuff.
with them a lot more? Because you like see a certain kid, and you're like, man, bro, like I was you.
I would say yes, but it's also too that I can't. It's because it's hard to because I mean I want to like project like how I did what I did.
Oh
things
yeah,
like
you
that.
can't do
But I
that.
can't do that because I'm obviously professional level.
But you can still relate to them.
But I can definitely, yeah. Like for me, I hated reading, but for them, they wish they could read, which is a little different, So.
What do you
because-
mean?
So to them, because of how, because they're all very positive. They're all like, dang, like, they want to just push through the things or like engage with their students or they want to be able to be in the same group as other people instead of just having to be singled out because they can't
Yeah.
read some shit. So they love to read because they want to push themselves, but they can't.
Aw.
Most of them can't to that level. And it sucks because of kind of where they're at.
Would you say you didn't want to know how to read though? Like, why is it different?
I would say yes and no. I didn't want to read because I always thought that books were lame. Not necessarily like nerd, but I just felt like I was like, why do I need to read?
You're stupid.
Yeah, I always thought that. I was just like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck
Why do
about
you need
reading.
to know how to read?
Yeah, and so I never
Oh
really,
my.
I never really engaged in it as well as I did until finally I started reading some books. I read this one book that was kind of crazy to me. I can't even remember the title for it, but it had to do with like this fantasy kind of like medieval time, and like it had goblins, it had a princess, it had this person who was learning magic, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, like this fantasy world just made me click and like made me want to just like start reading more because I was like, oh, I want that same fucking feeling of like being in that book. of like I can see myself in this
Oh
character.
yeah, and
You
books
know?
are a lot more detailed than movies and shit.
I just don't know. I've never found a book that has ever like
Drawn you
drawn
in
me
like
like
that
that
again.
ever again. Like, and it's a shame because I was like, damn, I wish other books like had that kind of effect. But I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the specific author or what. But you know, I was just
And too
able to
bad you
connect
can't
with it.
remember the title or the author.
Oh yeah,
You
no.
would be reading their series or something.
I feel like I remember the book cover, but because it was so long ago, like it was almost like
What was it?
a traveling person with a sword and like this princess in the front and like a goblin, and it's like yeah, it's weird. So I'm just
Dang
like
it. So many book covers probably are just scripted just like how you did.
yeah, exactly, and it's just I don't know, you know, and man,
Would you know it if you saw it?
I feel like I would, but then again, I'd probably be like. Because you know how sometimes parts of your memory get distorted or just
Yeah,
aren't
like
there.
you
You're like,
remember it blonde, but it was brunette or something.
yeah, just some of it just gets like warped, and so I feel like some of that shit is pretty warped in my head because of how
Probably.
long ago. Because if it was like almost third, fourth grade, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
like that's when I was really like, oh man, you know, like I gotta push to read more. Like I swear, if that book didn't come in my life, I feel like I would just be stuck still reading at like a in like middle school.
Not
level.
just that, but it's like I've seen how you fucking write and how you type too. Like, God, you're slow.
Yeah,
I mean, reading and writing go hand in hand, so it's like I could totally see what you're talking about
Yeah.
with reading.
no, yeah, that's why. It was insane though because that book I think I read it within about maybe a day and a half to a day.
Because it was that interesting
It was
to you.
interesting, yeah, and it was like 500, 600 pages,
Whoa.
you know, of
Back in the day when we didn't have jobs and shit, and we actually could do stuff like that.
yeah, where you could just like just sit down and just fucking just do whatever you want. It's just crazy. Like, what would you say is one thing that you used to do as a kid that really took a lot of your time? Then, you know, was it like going outside? Was it, you know, like?
Oh,
gaming?
it was me and Anita doing everything together.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Anita was my childhood best friend. We lost touch, and I'm not really sure why, but kind of woke up one day and I was blocked on everything, and I'm sure I did something to hurt her feelings. And yeah, still breaks my heart. It's still kind of hard for me to talk about, so I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I spent every day, every moment with her. We did everything together, even if it was just sitting there and talking about random shit, or even her just sitting there watching me sleep because I just like to take naps, you know?
What you said? She watched you sleep.
I woke up one time when she stayed the night, and she was just sitting at my desk when I just woke up, and she's just eating sunflower seeds, staring at me, and I'm like, "Why are you watching me sleep?" And she's like, "I don't know. I had nothing else to do." I'm like,
Jesus.
yeah, but we did everything together, and we weren't. We weren't like normal kids who like played in a park. I mean, we did that type of stuff too, but we spent a lot of our time hanging out in like cemeteries.
Oh.
Yeah, because there was one that was walking distance from where we lived.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah, and we're
That's
kind of
the
like, it's a place where no one would ever come to look or find us, because why would anyone find us in a cemetery? We almost had that place memorized.
It's true.
Like, we would call each other to meet up, and it's like, okay, are you by James or are you by Alice E. Ott? And we would know
Jesus.
exactly where to go.
That is kind of scary.
Yeah. But the thing is, like,
Just meet up next to dead James 6 feet under.
that's the thing, though. You think it would be scary and haunted in a cemetery, but we actually found a lot of peace in it.
Yeah.
And we would kind of make up our own stories as we, like, saw them.
Oh, like what is it that
Like, there
potentially happened?
was two plots. This was in the mausoleum, so it wasn't, like, buried. It was, like, inside of the place, you know? Like, where they're, like, in the walls.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
So we were in there, and well, speaking of Alice E. Ott, the reason why I said that is because that's the middle school I went to, and that was actually the cemetery where they were buried.
Oh shit.
The weird thing about it, though, is there was an Alice Ott, and then there was an Alice E. Ott. So we came up with this story where, like, it was like they were in a terrible accident, and half their body is in this one, and half their body's in the other one. Reality of it is probably just some ancestor or some
sure.
child of
Yeah.
theirs or something.
It just had a E middle name. E-Ot.
Yeah, but we would come up with stories like that, and I think the most peaceful one that we made up that I still kind of believe is true is so at the very, very top, you got to go up these flights of stairs to get all the way to the top, and there's like a sunroof, and it's really pretty.
Oh damn.
And we think it's a couple. so there was the same last names, and there were flowers on one of them.
Just one?
Yeah,
Oh,
but there
wow.
weren't flowers on the other one. So we came up with this idea that, because they were fake flowers, so they wouldn't have died. So we
Okay.
came up with this story where it's like, the wife died first and the husband would go visit all the time. But once the husband died, he didn't have anyone to leave flowers for him because he
Oh,
was the last one.
yeah.
So then it was just them two. So
Damn.
we took one of the flowers and put it on his or whatever just so he could have some too. So,
Damn.
but that was our theory. So
Damn.
we did stuff like that as kids.
That's an interesting. What the heck? I would never have thought of that. Like, in my head, immediately what came to mind in my head about like someone who had flowers, someone who didn't, was that some people actually loved this person, but the other people were kind of like negligent to the other person.
Oh, like one was liked, one wasn't?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we kind of just thought it was some couple, and he left flowers for the wife, but he didn't have anyone to leave flowers for him, so we gave
Yeah.
him some.
Which is wild. And then I thought about like, what about their kids and this and that? But obviously,
Not
could be some-
everyone has kids.
Yeah, not everyone does. And so in my head, I'm like, oh damn. Well, maybe this is where their journey ended.
Something about that place that has always like hit home for me, I guess, is there was this kid who like committed suicide. And that's the weird thing about like being in the cemetery when I was a kid. I don't know these people, but
Yeah.
I feel people's emotions so much, and I'm such an empath that it's like I feel like I knew them, And this kid committed suicide, and there was this like girlfriend of his, and she wrote like this really long letter and stuck it to like the headstone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was like teddy bears and flowers, like it just happened. When someone dies and it just happens, they don't have their name engraved on it yet, so it's just a bunch of flowers and stuff until the headstone is ready. So me and Anita kind of saw it because obviously we know this place really well. So when there's a new spot, we're kind of like, like that wasn't there before.
For sure.
So we saw this letter, and she was just talking about like how much she loved him, and like, I'm so sorry that I couldn't do more to get you to stay and stuff like that. And I always just thought it was really sad because people who are depressed and suicidal, like, they're not thinking, oh, you didn't do enough to get me to stay, this is why I'm going to end my life. There's just so much going on that's what happened, but then everyone who's still alive thinks it's their fault.
Yeah.
And that's something that's always resonated with me. Like, I still remember like the setup, and I could probably go to that cemetery and tell you exactly where it was. So anyways, back to the point. Yeah, me and Anita were really close, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
And yeah, I miss her like crazy, and it would be really cool to go back to the cemetery and I don't know, kind of just reminisce, but
Yeah.
I'm blocked, so.
That's kind of crazy. Like, what the hell? I never imagined like that story to actually take off to a cemetery.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for me, it was very, very basic. Like I would just like be gaming with the homies, or, be trying to like hang out as far as like doing trips to like cruisers was one. Like cruisers this was like a really like popular burger place.
There are milkshakes.
For us, it was the curly fries. We could not get enough. Yeah, the curly fries are insane. Lloyd Center was a big one back then when it was safe to go into, or actually
Yeah.
had, stuff to look at.
So you're saying you pretty much had a regular like childhood, I would say.
I would say it was a very like basic,
Like hang out with your friends, go to the mall,
Yeah.
play video games, like play outside, like.
Yeah, a lot of playing outside too.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We had moments like that too, where it's like we're pretending to work in a restaurant and making food out of grass and flowers and shit. It's a girl thing. You wouldn't understand.
Jesus.
But I'm telling you, it's a girl thing. I think every girl has also built a bird nest out of leaves and branches.
Interesting. I remember rolling down hills. That was me.
Well, yeah, we've done that too, but yeah. So don't get me wrong. We still had like
Yeah.
somewhat regular childhood stories, but you also have to remember our parents were really strict growing up. So hearing you talk about getting on a bus and taking the Mac somewhere, God, we would get our ass beat if we ever got caught even walking towards that area. We weren't allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the cemetery was the place that we used to go to all the time, because it was walking distance from where we were. So I would tell my family that I was at her house. She would tell hers that she was at mine, and we'd go to the cemetery.
That's
Usually
actually
on
nice. Yeah, smart.
rollerblades. Usually on rollerblades or a scooter for some reason.
Oh, okay.
It was walking distance, but it's still kind of far.
Yeah, I mean, you were going up a hill, so that itself makes
No,
it
we
a-
had shortcuts.
Oh, you had shortcuts? Damn.
Yeah, you're picturing us going around those main streets, but the main streets is where our parents would catch us. We can't go that way. Yeah.
So these are the details that we're getting into right here. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get caught. We're gonna go around this.
I will
Loop
say
de
there was a
loop.
time where we did want to take the Max to the mall, and what we did is we went into Justin's room and we put on a bunch of his clothes and threw the hoodie on, all that stuff, and we were walking like dudes, like sagging, whatever, walking to the Max so we wouldn't get
No
caught.
way.
Yeah, we pretended, we dressed up like dudes just so we could go to the mall.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Weren't allowed to do shit.
Dressing up like dude reminds me of that one movie that you just barely showed me about
She's
that.
the man?
She's the man. That barely, yeah. Because I'm just like, bro, that shit is so funny. It's like, first off, how the fuck can you not tell?
Bro, Amanda Bynes, I don't know if you know what she looks like now, but it's like, oof.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like she used to be so pretty, and clearly she's into drugs or something now.
Well, that's life for you, you know? Because who knows?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, Disney, Nickelodeon, end up looking kind of rough because the
Yeah,
industry was so shit to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Really fucked with their head, and now they're a certain way.
I think that was, oh man. I wish that they could actually speak most about that, but I know because maybe contracts.
All the contracts and stuff?
that they
Yeah, I
had-
know.
Yeah, so it's not something that they can even get
Like,
into.
I want to know so bad how bad, like, the industry is for, like, music, too.
Oh, I bet, I mean, just in general.
Like the Britney Spears thing, like, all, like,
Michael
everything.
Jackson too, like, yeah, like how Sony
so
controls.
bad. But the thing is, we'll
Shit,
never
yeah.
actually know.
Might be safer not to know, to be honest. Because
Yeah,
once
for
you
sure.
know, once you know something and you have that power, it's gonna be very easy for someone to just, you know, eliminate you out this world.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't know how to not tell, like, when... What?
Oh, you don't
No,
know
I was
how to
gonna
not
say,
tell.
yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how to not tell, like, the close people. Like, there's people who are like, oh, keep a secret, but it's like, oh, my man doesn't count, or, you know, like, my best friend doesn't count, type of thing.
For sure, for sure.
So it's like, to keep a secret where only I know it, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I feel like I would immediately call Kaylee or tell you, like, hey, remember that thing that we, like, have been curious about? I finally have answers. I finally know what's going on. And then not only would I be killed, but you guys would be killed for knowing, too.
So you're the reason I die.
I'm like, I finally figured out Illuminati shit and how actresses are dinosaurs and lizards and
For
how
sure.
fucking the music industry is just so dangerous and all this stuff and healthcare is broken and I tell you and Kaylee and then we all get shot. And then they frame it as an overdose.
Yep. And they frame it as a, suicide. letter.
Suicide or something, yeah. I'm just saying though, if me, you, and Kaylee died at the same time, I think people would be like,
I mean, the industry, I don't really want to touch on the industry. I can care less because fuck those motherfuckers.
we
Fuck
live
the
in our
industry.
own lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they shouldn't control other people's lives like that. Like, humans are humans, you know? Unless they're not humans and they're lizards. Only people who've seen, like, the Shane Dawson video that I'm exactly talking about will know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you're starting to get into the Shane Dawson conspiracy theory videos with me, and yeah, they're fucking awesome.
Which are pretty insane, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely love things that kind of just, like,
Make you think.
make you think and just have a different outlook on stuff. It's like, what the fuck? You would never expect that to even happen or occur. Like the food shit. The food shit's crazy.
Yeah, how, like, DoorDash and those random, like, restaurant names are really just, like, Chuck E. Cheese leftover pizza, or, you know, like, just to get more business.
For sure.
Speaking of food and, like, pizza and stuff, tell me why I went from a size 0 or a 1 or whatever, and now I'm a size 8. Like, that's how bad my health has fucked me up. Like, they said it's normal for me to look 3 to 6 months pregnant, but geez, like, I really do look pregnant.
To me, you definitely look a lot more bloated. I don't know if I would consider
But the thing is,
you-
I'm not bloated. So I do
That's
look
the thing.
bigger.
Obviously, you look bigger, yeah, but it just looks more like a bloating from what you used to.
I
never
look
like.
pregnant. Like, insert picture here. I literally look pregnant.
Insert picture here.
I'm insecure about it, but there's a reason. Okay, so we went to the gynecologist recently, and we found out that I have adenomyosis. And basically what that is like the tissue that normally lines the uterus grows into, like, the muscular walls of, like, the uterus instead. And that's how you can get, like, the blood and the fluid buildups and that type of thing. And unfortunately, the only fix or the only cure that at least the gynecologist told me, there was only one fix, and that is to have a hysterectomy. And I don't know if you know what a hysterectomy is, but that is to remove the uterus completely. Obviously, you can't have kids if you don't have a uterus. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really tough to hear that considering even one of our last episodes we were talking about having kids.
Yeah, that was one thing that we both
Really want.
really want. Yeah, I mean, that's.
So basically, it's try to pop out babies now and then get the hysterectomy, or get the hysterectomy and fix the problem but not be able to have kids.
I don't know which one would necessarily be the best option because even if having kids, I was hearing that there could be potential complications with that.
It just
Gotcha.
might be harder for us to actually get pregnant.
Got
But
it, got
if
it.
we were to get pregnant, it would be safe. It's just the possibility of it happening is a little more difficult.
Okay, so it's a low chance to actually become pregnant. It does obviously suck because we don't know.
And the rates of losing the kid or miscarriages and stuff like that is,
Oh, damn. I had no idea.
but in the sense of complications like birth defects and stuff, like it's safe to do so.
Well, I mean, we'll definitely have more information, I guess, for y'all, but also for ourselves too, once we figure out too how some of the medication that you're taking.
We're just
what we can do.
processing as well. Like it was a lot to hear all at once because basically in my brain I only have two options. It's keep dealing with this abdominal pain and these health issues and try to have kids now while I'm still dealing with all these health issues and then have the hysterectomy after we have kids, or finally get rid of this pain and have the surgery now
Yeah.
and finally be healthy.
If it really is to the point where the pain just doesn't seem like it's something that you want anymore or can handle, I don't think that it's one thing that I want to have you push through to just for us to have a chance to have kids. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to do that to you. So it's
Yeah.
just, it's tough. It's definitely not just
We'll keep y'all updated.
one thing. Yeah.
I think we're leaning towards the let's just pop out babies now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
But yeah, we'll keep talking about it. We'll see.
yeah. Stay tuned for the update of a baby or no baby.
Speaking of update, I got a new car.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ken, you want to tell the story? Okay, hold on. Let me say something real fast first. So it's always been an inside joke because his car would always smoke or do random stuff, and that's actually kind of how we started this podcast because he was over all the time when I was living with Kaylee. Because I would always say his car exploded or his car blew up because it would just start smoking or shut like break down and like that type of thing, and he couldn't go anywhere. And his work was really close to where Kaylee lived. So he stayed over all the time, and that's how we started the podcast, and that's how we got even closer than we were, if that was even possible, and then relationship bloomed, whatever. He finally got his car fixed, and it was running for months. Like, it was actually a good time, like a good while, you know?
I think since August or something, August or September is when they had it like had a full engine swap and then radiator and then
Yeah.
some other things too.
And now
specifically.
it's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way, is when we're recording this.
We're not wearing green, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. I'm in a robe. But yeah, it lasted a good while. But then his freaking car blew up again.
This is the 5th or 6th time I believe since my car has blown up. Anyway.
It hasn't actually blown up. Like, what actually is going on, or what happened to it?
Okay, so originally what happened with my car, I bought it for like $2K. You know, not too bad. It's a '99 Lexus ES300 for the people who know cars. So I was like, all right, bought this car, boom, boom, and was running for about maybe 3 or 4 months before finally we started really seeing that there were some issues with it's all like this. I believe it's like a water pump or something, but basically, it's attached in the inside of the engine, and so if you have to replace it or fix it, you have to take the whole engine apart in order to actually get that piece to be like fixed, and so it's a very costly thing. So it kept happening where it was losing a lot of coolant and just not really working. It was spilling a lot. We thought it was also a combination of the radiator. I got stuck many times. I had to be pulled from. It was like almost 3 miles or 2 from my dad's like SUV with just a rope, back to my dad's place and stuff. And
Can I just put out there, I know Sarah's probably listening to this episode, and I talked to her about the rope thing before I actually left work to come help you at Kaiser and do all the car stuff or whatever. And she was like, that's not safe. Like, I don't think that's going to work and all this stuff. Like, I think you need more than rope. And I just want to say, somehow we managed to do it.
for
Okay?
sure, you know,
No
yeah,
one died.
no one.
Would I do it again? Probably not. But we figured it out.
Yeah,
Hopefully won't need to do it again.
There's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? Somehow. And overall, the car just keeps overheating. Obviously, if you overheat the engine too much, then at that point, it just doesn't work. And that's what happened originally the first time. And then once we started getting it, the engine swap and the radiator all fixed and things like that, the first day that I got it, it did it again.
I remember that. You were so sad, and I was like being sarcastic and trying to like lighten the situation, but you were so upset. Like I was like, fuck.
I was just so sad because it was like, this ongoing problem is just, occurring, and we put down almost $3K for it to be solved, and it didn't, and
The day you got it back, it blew up again.
yeah. And of course, we took it back, and then from there on, it had a bit of smokiness to it, but nothing like very, very like where it changed like the hot and the cold. It stayed consistently in the middle. So it wasn't overheating, but obviously there was still some smoke coming from there.
It reminds me of that meme that's like, oh, I know a guy that can do it cheaper.
Jesus. So anyway, and that lasted for a while, like every now and then it would kind of like you would have some smoke or so happening from it almost looks like the radiator area, water pump kind of mixed to it, but mostly the engine. You can definitely tell that that's where that was the smoke was coming from. Overall, it overheated again. We got stuck at my appointment for Kaiser. We, like I said, managed to rope it together, a little loop-the-loop towards it. Got it back to my dad's.
Yeah.
My dad's. So, yeah, and then just kind of left it there. Obviously, I was very sad and kind of hopeless because it's like a car is like the one thing of mode of transportation. So how the fuck am I supposed to get?
How are you gonna get anywhere? I'm back to working. My leave of absence is over. You can't take my car anymore. We just, leased an apartment and did all this stuff. We don't have the funds to buy a new car.
Yeah,
It's a lot of anxiety, and obviously your problems are my problems, so I'm kind of freaking out on what to do too. You know what I mean? Like Uber is expensive. You can't Uber to work and back every single day. Like the fuck?
I guess to get to the chase, basically, the option that best suited our needs, that I believe that you decided and really kind of like saved our asses, was to buy a new car. A 2024 Toyota RAV4 SE hybrid. You know what I mean? And so this was a combination of her decision and as well as a lot of like help from your mom, because she's the one that really kind of made this situation even possible too. And you also kind of give up a lot of funds potentially in the future too. A good amount of money was put into a deposit and made it possible for you to get a brand new car, and for me, in exchange, to get your old car, which is a 2016 Toyota Corolla S. And I mean, I'm forever grateful for that decision that you made, because I mean, I was one of the biggest spontaneous decisions anyone has first ever done for me, and on top of it, spontaneous decision that I've ever heard, from people, besides if anyone just like all of a sudden leaves into a whole new kind of country kind of situation. Like, I feel like that would be like spontaneous as fuck. So again,
Basically, I was just trying to think of what to do, and obviously my first thought when your car blew up again was like, oh my god, you can have mine. But then I'm like, what am I gonna do if I don't have a car? And I'm kind of like, okay, like, I can always get a new car. Like, I kind of been thinking about it, but not to the point where I was actually going to take action. But I'm like, okay, opportunity arises. This is probably a good opportunity to get a new car, and you could have mine. The only conflict is my mom was like, yeah, but trade-in value. And so what her businessman brain decided to do is, okay, obviously Bryan take my old car and I have this new one, but he just helps me pay insurance and the down payment as payment for giving him my car.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
Oh, thanks, Mama. You're so smart.
she has a brain of a businesswoman because she is a businesswoman, you know. And I feel like if we didn't have the knowledge and if we didn't have the support of your mom in that situation, you know, a lot of that stress, a lot of that would just be eating away at me, and we wouldn't be in a situation where we can comfortably enjoy our future, you know. And I don't know, like I said, I'm just so grateful for you for one making that decision, and as well as for your mom to even make that decision possible, you know, because a lot of it really stemmed from the deposit and as well as her credit, you know.
Co-signing with me, yeah. Because her co-signing with me made the payments a lot lower than what it would have been me, just myself.
Literally like a 4 point something as far as interest.
Yeah.
And that's insane because she was saying that it's only like less than $2,000 of interest that you're getting, you know, and that in itself.
She did
is
the math,
insane.
and basically, because I decided to do the 5-year payoff thing, and basically the interest within 5 years is like less than $3,000. Like, that is so low. But that's our update. All right, y'all. I know that was kind of a short episode, but you know, we're gonna have a lot of guests, and we're gonna continue having guests on this episode. But we just kind of wanted to jump in, talk about some random shit, and update you on what's going on.
Freestyle.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all.
St.
See
Patty's Day.
ya.
Even though this ain't coming in St. Patty's Day, the Ober's coming in St. Patty's Day.